Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, two names that virtually every United States citizen knows. But a contemporary and possibly just as important a name is Dan Bricklin. Dan Bricklin revolutionized the way that the average person would interact with technology through his software program, VisiCalc. But Bricklin started very early. In Philadelphia, at the age of 15, Bricklin was already coding software programs for computers. And he took this interest to the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, where he would major in computer science and electrical engineering, according to a 2019 article in the Harvard Gazette by Peter Rule titled "A Vision for Computing's Future." And he used these two degrees to get jobs in the software industry and the hardware industry. The first was Digital Equipment Corporation, which was a word processing software company, and the second was FastFax, a cash register hardware company. And in a 1986 interview that was transcribed by programmersatwork.com in 2010, Bricklin describes just how important these two jobs were and how big a role they played in his decisions that would lead to him creating VisiCalc. But shortly after he was employed, his company decided to move to New Hampshire out of Massachusetts. So he had a decision to make. He could either leave with his company and make that his life, or he could stay and make himself more marketable. And he chose the latter. To do that, he decided to get his MBA from the Harvard Business School. But little did Bricklin know that this was going to be one of the most important decisions that he ever made, not only for him, but for the general population in the technological field and the finance field. While Bricklin was at Harvard, he was in class, supposed to be doing homework, but instead he was daydreaming about a magic chalkboard that he could interact with and put his data into using a calculator that had a mouse attached to the bottom. He would be able to put his data in, and it would instantly calculate all of his data. And if he had made a mistake, he would easily be able to replace the wrong data, the incorrect data, with the correct data, and then he would be able to recalculate without having to recalculate everything by hand and taking a lot of time. This was the concept for VisiCalc, and VisiCalc eventually launched in 1979. And within 5 years, it had already sold 700,000 copies by 1984. And that's according to a 2022 article titled VisiCalc of Dan Bricklin and Bob Frankston by HistoryComputer.com. And the 1984 census really puts this into perspective. It was 8% of all computers at the time had VisiCalc on it. And not only that, more had taken the concept and were making their own spreadsheet programs similar to Bricklin's. Steve Jobs actually talked about this, and this can be found on Bricklin's website, titled a video titled "Steve Jobs Talking About VisiCalc in 1996." Steve Jobs talked about two major explosions that propelled the computer industry forward. And the first of those was the spreadsheet program VisiCalc by Dan Bricklin. But like Jobs said, Bricklin was an integral, a pivotal part of the mainstream culture, of the mainstream integration of technology. According to Giuseppe Galassi, an article titled "Some Clarification to the Evolution of the Electronic Spreadsheet" in 2014, Bricklin's spreadsheet wasn't the first spreadsheet program, but what it was the first culturally accepted mass-scale spreadsheet program that the average person could use on a personal computer during the personal computer revolution. And this was the grandfather technology to several spreadsheet programs that are in use today that people in all industries use, like Excel or QuickBooks or Numbers. In fact, 90% of people under the age of 65 in the United States, according to Camille Ryan's Computer and Internet Use in the U.S. and American Community Survey on the 2016 census, 90% of the people under 65 have access to a computer. That means that they have access to a spreadsheet program. And that even goes further with smartphone use. 18 to 50 people, ages 18 to 15, that number's 95%. That number is according to a 2021 Demographics of Mobile Device Ownership and Adoption in the U.S. by Pew Center Research. So virtually, nearly every person in the United States has access to technology to where they can access these spreadsheet programs. And these spreadsheet programs were influenced by Dan Bricklin's original innovation. And that innovation, the ripples of that innovation, can still be felt in nearly every computer today.